Thank you all for joining us for the Preparing, Organizing, and Writing Your Thesis Dissertation workshop. Today's workshop speaker is Dr. Lina Chato, Postdoctoral Scholar, Computer, Electrical, and Biomedical Engineering. Dr. Chateau is going to discuss how you can get ready, structure your writing early, and stay organized to help you progress through your thesis and dissertation. I will now hand it over to Dr. Chateau to get us started.
Thank you so much, Eka, for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. So let me just share my screen. Okay, so everyone can see my screen. If not, please just mention in the chat.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. So welcome to this workshop and congratulations because you decided to start your thesis and dissertation process. Okay, so everyone has a goal, and between a goals and accomplishment, it is the discipline is required, and it's very important. Okay, so the workshop objectives are understand the meaning of the dissertation and thesis, gain insight about effective planning and writing of your research and dissertation, learn the strategies to overcome barriers during your dissertation process, and also learn how to clearly communicate your dissertation objectives and outcomes. So I will talk in general, say dissertation, but of course I mean both dissertation and thesis, okay? So the workshop agenda, first we will start with what is dissertation thesis, how the dissertation thesis look like, how to prepare your dissertation thesis, and also how to write a good dissertation thesis. Then in the end, we will conclude with what are the strategies to overcome the barriers in the dissertation thesis process. So let's start with the first part. What is the dissertation thesis? So here we will know about the dissertation thesis meaning and also what are the skills that you need to successfully write, not only write, but achieve your goal through dissertation and thesis process. So dissertation and thesis, both they are book-sized manuscript of your original research. This research, of course, is to contribute to your field. And you are doing this research, of course, to get your degree, doctoral for the dissertation or master degree for, master degree for the thesis. So in general, dissertation or thesis is a long form of research object. You will collect data, analyze new or existing data. Also, the heart of the dissertation and thesis is developing and showcase your critical thinking skills ability. So in general, the dissertation and thesis consist of hypotheses and conjectures, okay, to be proven. So we can see there is a difference between thesis and dissertation. In general, thesis is for a master's degree, dissertation is for PhD. It is more complex than dissertation. We will not talk about the number of the pages because it is depend on your topic, depend on your field, depend on your study, okay? So we can say in general, the dissertation is longer than thesis, okay? After you finish your dissertation or thesis, if you are a master's student, you want to prove or to show that you are a researcher in field. In dissertation, you want to show you are expert in field, okay? So the difference, expert, that doesn't mean you know everything in your field, but actually you are able to solve any erasing problems, number one. Number two, you can expand the research. And number three, you can also generate research idea and develop research methods, okay? So that means you would like through this process to show your ability to work independently, generate ideas and contribute to your field, pursue your audience, improve your skills and gain new skills. So in the end, it is your responsibility to develop your method, to write your thesis and dissertation and obtain the result, defend and get your degree, okay? So how to build your dissertation or thesis story? So first, of course, you should start with a topic. So topic is the big idea that you are exploring, okay? Then you need also to mention what are the dissertation objectives. These are specific things that you want to achieve with your research. And also your dissertation and thesis contain hypotheses. What are hypotheses? These are questions that you guess they will lead to research achievements in your field. Then dissertation results, these are actually the discoveries that you get through your research and are based on your dissertation hypothesis. So here you want to show, as I mentioned, you're independently to investigate, discover, analyze, develop, and discuss research questions and contribute to your field. But remember, the research process is not linear, but it is a recursive cycle of steps. That means maybe you will, for some task in your dissertation, you will require 1 month, others 3 months. Maybe when you plan 3 months to do a specific, let's say, task in your dissertation, let's say it's a methodology, but you will need more. Maybe in your collecting data, you expect to finish collecting data within 1 month, but actually you will see that you need more than 1 month. So what are the skills you need to prepare, organize, and write your dissertation? So many people, maybe they think they need only writing skills, but actually in this process, you need critical thinking skills. Time management is very important, project management, organization, research, public speaking, networking, and writing. So that means to complete this process successfully, you need all these skills. So now let's go to the part 2, pre-dissertation planning. So here we will learn about the reflection stage, and then we will see what are the dissertation thesis structure or how we can organize our dissertation and thesis. Then we will get some tips about time management. So in the reflection stage or before you start your project, so you need to think inclusively, write down your ideas and thoughts, maintain independent in your research, try to set realistic goals, not very complex, not very simple. Also plan to create a proper timeline is very important actually, because it's help you the timeline to track your progress. This number 1, and number 2 also it's show your achievements. Okay. Also you can take a break when you need a help and ask for help when you need. But when we say taking a break, remember is socialize with your colleague, with other faculty and scholars in the department, talk about your research is a good break because you will get some ideas from them, and also conduct a preliminary study to clarify your research, seek feedback. It is very important from your advisor, from your committee member, from your colleagues, students, friends. Seek feedback is good to talk about your topic, about your dissertation, to ask for help. And one of the important things you must aware about it is avoid plagiarism. I believe most of the graduate students know about how they can avoid plagiarism. But for example, sometimes they can forget to cite a specific reference or data source. So please just make sure to avoid these problems. And UNLV actually and the graduate college, they have a program that you can participate in and get an account to check your document, thesis, and dissertation if it is missing any of the reference or if some text is very similar to other references. Also, ethical consideration. It is important, specifically in some fields when they are working with the human and animals. You must be careful with the data collection, for example, involving people, the process or procedures that you apply on your data or in your experiments, and so on. So after we know all the details about the dissertation before we start, you must first start know how the dissertation and thesis look like. Okay, so organization is important to know in the first step before you start your project. So each dissertation and thesis contain abstract and introduction or background, literature review, discussion, conclusion, future work, references, appendix, or appendices is optional. But if we talk about the methodology and results, these depend on your field, your topic, your department, your advisor, because I know some other departments, for example, they have this form or this structure. They have topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, and they must discuss, conclude, and implication get in the last chapter. Also, you can see that this is another one. So maybe you will ask here, which structure is the best? Actually, it is depend on your field of study. It's depend on your topic. And also it is nice and good to ask your advisor to know which one is the best for you, okay? Which structure. I recommend here to ask your advisor to mention one of the good dissertation or thesis, so you can start look on it, okay? So you can get information about how your book look like. So what is the abstract? It is a short summary that we describe the dissertation objective, analysis, achievements, and contributions. It is a summary. Usually it is 1 page to 2 pages. It is in the beginning of the dissertation, but actually can be 3. It is depend. The first chapter, it is introduction. But some people, they add introduction literature review, or they combine these 2 chapters in one. In introduction, you provide, let's say, a background about your research, okay? And you clarify the focus of your study. Literature review chapter, as I mentioned, sometimes it's combined with the introduction. It is very important. And this is the first step that you start with it. Why it is the first step that you start it? Because most of the people start need to start with looking on the state of the art in their field, achievements in their field, to know what others did, to identify the gaps in the resonant project or thesis and dissertation, and also to highlight some questions and how to address the gap in the existing research. Then, after you identify your objects based on your research topic, identify the gap, And then you provide your hypothesis in the introduction part. Most of the people put this information. Then you can start your methodology. In your methodology, you will describe your detailed research method that you answer the dissertation, hypothesis, or questions. Then after the methodology, we need to display the results. Results are the finding or outcomes of your dissertation methodology. Then we have a conclusion to conclude your work, highlight the novelty and importance of your work. Some people also in conclusion, they need to compare, show their work by comparing it to previous work. Show how they solve the gap that they identified in the introduction part. Future work also is very important to show how your dissertation work set foundation for a future research. Okay? So these are in generals the contents of a dissertation and thesis. As I mentioned, sometimes you will see introduction and literature review are in one section. Also, you can see that conclusions and the future work are in one section. As I mentioned, it depends on you, your advisor, and your field, your topic, and so on. Okay? Time management. So before you start your dissertation research or project in general, not only writing, you must plan ahead. You must create an inclusion, detailed, and realistic timeline. You need to set a weekly and daily schedule. You need to break a big task into multi-small tasks. Why? This step is very important. So these simple achievements can encourage you to continue and also show your progress. Prioritize your task, and also you need to set enough time for each task. I mean the big and the small. And remember here, when you decided your time management, that doesn't in the beginning, that doesn't mean this is the end. This is the final time management or timeline schedule that you have. You can update based on your research achievements, based on the results that you get, okay? Also, you need to be patient, flexible, adaptable, because you know it is, as we mentioned, it is a recursive research cycle. Yes, we expect sometimes everything is okay, positive, but you know obstacles happen. The most important thing also, keep your advisor in loop. First, you must discuss with your advisor how long your dissertation process you think should take, or ask his advice how long it should take based on, for example, topic. Okay? Or how should your timeline look like? Because remember one thing, your advisor is the best person who has a good experience of the field, and also how the dissertation should be managed. The dissertation process should be managed, okay? So let's look dissertation timeline. What we need to include in the timeline? Actually, any timeline is consist of rows and columns, correct? So it contains small elements and it's contain amount of the times. These are in row and columns. We can put in the rows the element and task, and in columns, we can say the time, details, information, notes, anything. So what is the purpose of this one? As I mentioned, it's to keep yourself track and check your progress, okay? So let's look on this example of the timeline. We can see here in this example, it is actually from internet. This is the link. Here we can see the tasks are in the columns. Sorry, these are the tasks in the rows. So the person here or the student divided his task into topic finding, proposal, literature review, which are the main steps to start developing your thesis and dissertation. Of course, the graduate students will have other tasks such as developing the methodologies, results, conclusion, and so on. But here I'm trying to display the first top 3 tasks. We can see, for example, the students put additional information and date for each task, resources need, progress, what are the tasks need to be complete by a specific due date, or is there any specific submission date? Then to identify the time for each task, they divided a month into weeks. Actually, I recommend this method. Some people maybe will use days, but this is not really very helpful because we will need to use, for example, for each month 30 days. So it's best to start with the weeks. Or some people, they divided month into 3 parts. First 10 days, then the second 10 days, and then the last 10 days of the month. So it's up to you, okay? Then here you can see the user or the students use different colors to mention the time required for each task, okay? We can see some tasks are we can do simultaneously in the same time. Other tasks we must wait to achieving the first task. For example, we cannot start with a proposal without start reading for the literature review, right? Sorry. So also you can see here, dividing a big task, topic finding, into 8 small tasks. How it is helpful? It is actually help you to manage your time, number 1, and number 2 is to show your progress. Okay. It looks there's a question in the chat. Will you share this worksheet? Yes, I will share this worksheet. Now, the recommendation for pre-dissertation planning before you start your work is to skim other dissertation. It's very important, and get your advisor advice. Think carefully about your committee, sketch out the sensible draft to order and create timeline, design productivity that align with your advisor, design productivity align with your colleagues. Let me just highlight one point here. When I say think carefully about your committee, it is very important, not only your advisor. Why? Because you will spend a long time working with these people, and actually these people are the best people who can support you through this process, okay? So you should be here when you choose your committee. You should be, let's say, not only careful, but also you should be sure that these people can help you, okay? Now let's go to the part 3, how to prepare your thesis and dissertation. So first, we will go in this part through the steps that we need to prepare our dissertation. Then what are the guidelines and strategy to choose dissertation topic? Then how to conduct a comprehensive literature review, how to prepare your dissertation proposal. But actually here, I will not talk about this one today. Maybe it's better to talk about this with your advisor. Then we will talk about what is the methodology chapter 4 and how to conclude your dissertation and why you need the future work. Okay, so these are the dissertation steps. You will start with the understand the requirement on your program before you starting the dissertation process, starting your dissertation project. Why? Because you need to know what are the requirements you need to achieve before submitting your dissertation proposal or dissertation topic. Okay, so you can get this information from the graduate coordinator, from the website. I believe all the department, I'm very sure actually all the department at UNLV, they mentioned this information, what are the requirements. Okay, you must go through these steps. Okay, you can see start writing is one of the important steps, and follow the dissertation structure is very important. But of course, before it, as I mentioned, is create timeline is important to organize your research. Then after you write, you need a time for revise and edit. Some people, they think 3 months, for example, is enough for writing, but in the end, and they see they required 6 months. Okay, sometimes revising your dissertation required time. Okay, one important thing also I would like to mention. We mentioned that we have abstract and conclusion in each dissertation, but remember, we write the abstract and conclusion in the end, after we finish all the chapters. What is the reason why we write the conclusion and abstract in the end? Because as I mentioned, the abstract is the summary that you describe your topic, you describe your methods and analysis or data and methodology, achievements, and accomplishment. So of course you cannot write this information without finishing with your dissertation project and other chapters. Same for conclusion, okay? There is another question in the chat. Any suggestion for tools to help with the literature review? Cute and finding. Actually, I believe there are some software available, but in general, from my experience, when I start the literature review, I will actually talk about this. When I start in the literature review or any student start, they should read and write. This is one of important important recommendation. And when you write, you should learn about how to reference. Okay, I will actually I provided here links about how to choose your style, reference style, how to what are the documents that you required, and also what are the resources available. Actually, UNLV, the library at UNLV, they have very nice information about the style of the references and how to reference or put any other research. Okay. Also, the writing center. The writing center, they have a nice hand on workshops and documents. Okay, I provided the link here. You can actually email them or ask me anytime you need any help. Okay. So what is a dissertation topic? This is the first thing you need to identify it and to know about it. It is a specific research question or issue or subject that you choose to explore, investigate in depth as a part of your academic study. Why you choose this? Of course, to contribute to your field, okay? Here are some tips how to choose your topic. So, of course, you need to choose a topic that you are interested in because you will spend a lot of time working with this project. And this project, remember, maybe will decide your career in the future, which field exactly you will work on it. And also, you need to avoid very ambitious or challenging topic. Also, simple topic. Avoid topics that are linked to your emotional issue, to a situation in your life. Avoid topics that are driven by personal bias or strong personal opinion. Select topics that make original contribution to your field. This is very important because in the end, you will defend and your committee will evaluate your topic, your achievements, your results and outcomes, okay? Here are some recommendations to choose your topic. First, you need, of course, to do preliminary research. Also, you need to discuss your topic with your advisor, okay, with your advisor. And sometimes it's good with your peers, other faculty or scholars, and take some constructive criticism very seriously, okay? Because, you know, as I mentioned, your advisor have a good experience in the field. Sometimes you think this topic is not very complex, but actually it is complex, okay? So it is good to take any feedback seriously from your advisor. Also, you can ask experts in your field if you find that it is a little bit hard to find a specific topic, a good topic. Be flexible and open to explore your new idea. Maybe sometimes you decided a specific topic to work on it, but your advisor maybe suggest another topic, which is maybe more interested in your field. Be passionate about your topic. Consider feasibility in terms of availability, resources, time, and so let's see literature review. We said that one of the beginning of or to choose beginning of your dissertation is the literature review. It's one of the early chapters. Sometimes the literature review, it comes with the introduction chapter, the first chapter. So what is the literature review? It is a critical and comprehensive analysis of the existing scholars' literature and research relevant to your topic, okay? The topic that you choose. And also the literature review actually show your capacity to critically analyze and integrate existing scholar work, the state-of-the-art work, and also to provide a strong foundation to justify your research question and methodology. In literature review, when you prepare the literature review, you identify gaps and highlight the significance of your research in the context of previous study or available study. So that's why the literature review is the first step. When you start reading other research, other dissertation, other articles available online, you can get maybe, you can identify the gap and get your topic. How to conduct literature review? First, you need to define the scope and the objective, conduct thorough research, select the relevant studies, organize these literatures into themes. So, for example, you can organize them in the people that they use data collected from source 1, data collected from source 2, data collected from source 3, or the people that they did a clinical study, the other people that they did clinical study and experiments, and so on, okay? Summarize the key finding for each reference that you will read in literature review. It is very important. Analyze and compare study, critically evaluate the literatures and highlight the theoretical framework, combine the relevant information, and then relate all these literatures to your research. This is the main point. They should be related to your research because you want in the end to show what is the gap and how you solve this gap, or how you fill it actually, how you fill your gap. What are your achievements? What's your method? So in general, the literature review chapter or section in any research manuscript should consist of introduction part, body part, and conclusion. Introduction is the thesis sentence that narrows the focus of the work. The body, you need here to synthesize the literature to support the thesis statement. In the conclusion part, you summarize the literature finding and also identify the gap, okay, or your questions. And then you can connect these to your hypotheses, okay? What are your hypotheses and what are your suggestions to solve this gap? What are the resources of the literature review? How we can get? They are books, dissertation, thesis, article or journals, magazine, conference proceeding, conference papers, peer-reviewed papers, professional reports, maybe organizations, you will get, for example, data from them, company website, you will use a tool from them, online video, okay, data resources, maybe you will not collect data, but there's a data available that you will use it from other organization, institutions, and code resource that you used and developed in your dissertation. So many things, okay? All these are literatures. How to read now scholarly article is important to know how to read a scholarly article, because when you know how to read perfectly, that means you are able to get the required information. So the first step is skimming, okay? It is very important to start with the skimming. When we do skimming in any dissertation, in any research paper, article, you must start with the abstract and then go to read the conclusion and discussion. Because in the abstract, they mention what is the objective from this work, from this article or thesis, dissertation, and they mention what is the analysis they used, what are the methodologies, what are their outcomes, and how they achieve these outcomes, and also they highlight their contribution to the field. In the conclusion, they provide the information about their methodology, their outcomes, how they compare them, how they fill the gap between the research and the literature, okay? Then also you can focus on the title, subtitle, heading, bold words, charts, graph, tables, or pictures. This is the skill. Then you need to find the article main claim, question, or objective. As I mentioned, this information, you can find them in the abstract and conclusion, also in the introduction part. So when you read article or thesis, you need to look on these three items carefully. So also you need then the step 3 to understand the structure. Why any article, research paper, any thesis or dissertation consists of these chapters, and they should be in this order, simply because each chapter is used to answer these questions. For example, introduction, you should, in this chapter or in this section, you will find people answer who inspired them, why they did the research. And also in your dissertation, you should mention this information. And the methodology, how the people did the research, results, what happened, what are your outcomes, okay, based on your methodology. Then in the discussion, what is the meaning of your results? In the discussion also, the people compare their results. Maybe if they use different methods, they compare the result between these different methods, or compare their outcomes or results with others' results. In the conclusion, actually, in the discussion, the people trying to highlight why they use this method, why they achieve this result. In the conclusion, they want to explain what they learned, okay? What they learned. We can also include in the conclusion to show how we compare our results to other research, or to the existing or the previous research. Then in the end, references is very important, because we want to say whose research that you read and used in your dissertation or thesis. Then we have one important in the literature review, one important step, is summarize in table. When you read, try to create a table, maybe not a single table. First, you will start with a single table, then you will do 2 tables, 3 tables, and so on. Maybe this step is not required for all the fields, but actually it is general to show why you read this study, how this study inspired you, what are their achievements, what are the limitations, what are the applications, for example, and so. Okay, so it's just to show other achievements and also to show how your research will contribute to field and how your research will solve a specific question that you highlighted. Okay, so there are different types of the table. So maybe if you ask which one is the best, actually it depends, as I mentioned, on your research topic in your field study. If you're trying to skim a book and dissertation thesis is a little bit harder than research article. Why? Simply because it's a book size, manuscript, many pages. So you need to start with the introduction and conclusion, abstract if it is available. Then write the introduction part and the summary of each chapter or section. Then sometimes the first and last sentence, they make sense. Also, you need to focus on the title of the, let's say, subsections in the chapters, subtitles and headings. Bold words, you will see most of the people when they want to identify a specific, for example, term, a specific method, they bold it. Charts, graphs, pictures, tables, as you know, these are very useful method to describe the information in the text, okay? And also end of the chapter, you can see sometimes they provide some dissertation or books review questions, okay? So now after we understand what are the chapters that you need, after we understand how to conduct literature review, now we need to know how to cite literature review, cite scholar article, book, and dissertation. So first thing, you should start with a specific format. Then you need, as I mentioned, to look on an example. I mean a specific dissertation or thesis, a good one that is recommended by your advisor in your field, and see what is the style they used, why they used one, is it easy to you or not. It is depend actually, people based on their preference, they can use that specific style. Here I provided these two links. Okay, you can see this link is the University Library Citation Biography. They provide very nice information. Please visit this one to get more information about the styles for citation and styles. Also, UNLV Writing Center, as I mentioned, they have a handout writing workshop. So you can just send them an email, but actually here you don't need actually to send them an email. Just visit this link and you can get these documents. If you still have a question, it's good to ask the people in the writing center. You can set a meeting with them, for example, an in-person meeting or online meeting, and ask a question. Also, some journals and a scholar library, they provided multiple options of citation style. So you don't need to take care to convert from a style to another because they provide already, and you can just use the style that you choose for your dissertation, copy and paste it. In addition, there is automatic citation generator available online, but I cannot say this is the best one, this is not. Okay, I provide some examples here in the next slides, but remember, these automatic citation generator or converter, these are machines. So there's possible they miss some information or there's some mistakes. So please check and be careful when you use these type of resources. So here is an example, MDPI journals. They have multiple styles for a specific paper. You can see. You can choose the one that you like. If it is not here in the available in the list, you can type and see if it is available. And it is very easy to just copy and paste. The citation reference that information available here are, let's say, these are very or well organized. You don't need to check sometimes, yes, because they provided by these journals. For example, this is another one from the NIH, okay, library. Here you can, this is the available citation. You can choose the one that you prefer. This is an example of the automatic generator or automatic converter, citation converter. You can use it, but here, this one, for example, be careful, as I mentioned, because this is still a machine. So for my recommendation for literature review, read, write. Please start writing early. Okay, I know it is not easy. We will see what are some methods that we can use or strategies in the writing, but start writing early. Print and put note when you read any literature. You can print PDF. If it is article, for example, I'd put your note. Use tables to summarize, as I mentioned, highlight and compare. Use figures and flowcharts if they can provide more sense. Connect with people, ask for feedback, discuss with others is very important. Oh, I will send it actually, this, the PDF file for these slides to the bootcamp, the graduate college, and they will share it
I
with
will share
everyone.
it right now. I'll share it right now with the email.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of
Appreciate.
course, of course.
Now let's see why mythology chapter is very important. Because in this chapter, you will show your research novelty and importance. You show how you conduct your research and also why you choose these methods that you specified or developed. Okay, this is why it is very important. So how to conduct a research methodology? First, you should start with choose appropriate research design, then select data collection method. Then the third step is use or develop appropriate data analysis method. Then in the end, evaluate and justify. These are the steps to conduct a research methodology. And this is what you will describe in the research methodology chapter or methodology chapter in your dissertation and thesis. So what is the meaning choose appropriate research design? That means there are different design of the research. So which one is more related to your topic, you should use it. And also it is not only related to topic, but to your field of study, okay? So you should be careful to choose the proper one. How you can get, you can actually here ask for support from your advisor, okay? As I mentioned, he is the person that he or she, the person who has a good experience and very nice experience, and they can advise you and help you in this step. Then select data collection method. Also, there are different types of the collection data method, but you need also to remember some topics or some fields. You can use a data that is collected and is available online. Or you can sign a specific agreement to get access to these data, but the processing is your processing the data and analyzing it is your work or responsibility. How to process data? It is depend, as I mentioned. You can use or develop statistical or qualitative analysis method to process any interpret the data. How to write methodology chapter, explain your methodological approach, then describe your data collection, describe your analysis method, describe how to evaluate and justify your methodological approaches, use figures, tables, flowchart if it is possible, and because actually these figures, tables, and flowchart can provide more information about the text or clarify the explanation that you put in the text, okay? And also simplify the understanding. Why result chapter then is matter? After the methodology, we need a result because we want to show our outcomes, correct? This is very important. You want to show what are your findings based on the methodology that you developed. Also, you show how you answer your dissertation questions. You are also proving your work. You're setting the stage for a discussion the next chapter. So inside the result chapter, you should have the structured presentation, quantitative data and qualitative data, and both, statistics, graphics, tables and figures to show the results, okay? So as I mentioned, this depends on your project, your research, your topic, and so on. Discussion and conclusion. Here you will talk about what happening, make sense of your result, connecting to the dose, link your finding to what other did. Here also you are talking about why your discoveries are important. Then you are trying to relate your finding to what you were trying to find out, what you fall in the gap, okay? And also here you recognize or highlight what is the improvement or what is your contribution to the field. And also you can mention in the discussion, suggest what are the future research could explore. Maybe you developed methodology 1 and you get results, but this inspired you to a different way, okay? So you can put all this information in the discussion, or the discussion chapter should contain all this information.
Hello, Dr. Chato. Sorry
Yeah.
to cut you off. I have a question in the chat.
Sure.
Tables, figures, and flowcharts go in the analysis chapter or in the appendix?
Okay, it's a good question. Thank you so much. It is depend. If these tables or graphs describe your finding, your outcomes, so I prefer to include them in your result chapter. But if these flowcharts, tables describe the data, you can include them in appendix or describe, for example, other work. Okay, so you can include in the appendix. But actually, we cannot say this is the best way to answer this question. The good thing, you can seek a feedback from your advisor and committee. But based on my experience, the good way is to put the flowcharts, tables of your finding outcomes in the result chapter. Okay? So now let's say to that in the conclusion part, what we need to put in the conclusion. Here you need to put everything together. You need to summarize what you learned. You need to highlight your finding and why they are important. And you can also put on the conclusion, show how your research contribute to your field. You want to show how your results compare to other results or solve a specific problem. Also, as I mentioned, you need to highlight the future work. So in the end, this is the reference is at the end of any dissertation or thesis is a comprehensive list of the resources that you cite. As I mentioned, the UNLV Graduate College, they provide authentication account, I believe. I had one before. Actually, I used one last semester for one of my papers. It's good to use it for your thesis, dissertation papers, professional reports. So you can check if you forget one of the references you didn't cite it. Also, you can check if you mention something is very similar to an internet. Okay, so you can write it maybe in different way, because sometimes, it is important to have to include the information from others to cite them, okay, in our dissertation. Then now let's go to the part 4, writing your dissertation thesis. Okay, so here we will remind what are the skills we needing for good writing. Also, what are the motivation strategy for writing your dissertation? What are the strategies to start writing your dissertation? What are the strategies to keep you going when you write? So we mentioned in the beginning, we need all these skills to dissertation process. Also, we need these skills for writing. Okay, so for writing, of course, you need to know how to describe your research, how to organize your work, to project management, time management. So all these skills are required. You need to plan ahead. You need to put a plan, timeline, as I mentioned, is very important. As I recommended, when you read a literature, try to summarize. You can summarize in text. You can use a table to summarize. There is a method also we can use it as a Pomodoro technique, because I know actually when we start writing is one of the boring steps in the dissertation process, because sometimes we confuse how to start writing, how to write, is it good or not? Okay, so there are several techniques that we will learn. Figure out a daily schedule is very important for writing. Don't say I will write 4 hours a week or 5 hours, but try to have a schedule. It's good. Okay. You can also start with the writing the section or chapter that you prefer. But of course, the first one that we will start with, it should be the literature review. Why? Because we are reading, summarizing, identifying the gap, putting the questions or hypotheses, and we suggest the possible solutions. So it is good to start with the literature review. Seek and support and feedback from your advisor, committee, and friend. Okay, colleagues. You can build on your past work. For example, you are PhD dissertation, so I believe that the students in PhD study, if they have master degree already, they will not find the dissertation is hard. Okay, they can improve their skills or adapt themselves easier. But I know for the students, master degree, they have a little bit difficulties because this is the first time they will try to write their book-sized manuscript. Okay, but please remember, there's nothing impossible. There's nothing is very easy, but after you get these tips, recommendations, please use them and also seek help, support. Also, I can recommend that the Graduate College, GPSA, they provide very nice workshops. You can attend many of these workshops, socialize with your friend, ask them if you have any question. It's nice, okay? Because you will get many of good recommendation or advices from others. So this is a motivation strategy here. Let's learn. These are my recommendation. You can schedule a regular activity with people related to your dissertation. For example, with your advisor, you can have a weekly meeting to discuss, present, get his feedback, her feedback, okay? With your peers also to discuss, present, write, because you know your audience in your dissertation and thesis. Who are your audience here? Your audience are not only your advisor and committee, but your colleagues, the people in field, the people that the other people in interdisciplinary, okay, who are interested in interdisciplinary research. Okay, so it's good to have activity with others to get their feedback, okay? Also set a feasible goals and celebrate the achievements. This is nice, yes. Sometimes with the small achievements, we can celebrate that by relaxing or doing one of your hobbies, or maybe watching a movie or anything. Okay, so it is good because these help you to provide you with the energy to continue and do everything perfectly. Make the act of writing be its own reward. But let's now see how to start writing. Okay, this is very important. There are different methods. We can use them actually. I found these methods in a book. I share the reference. It is one of the reference. It's a Surviving Your Dissertation. It's a very nice book. They mention different methods to help you to start because sometimes we don't know how to start writing. Why? How to write? Okay. So these methods are making lists, clustering, writing letter to a friend, journalistic devices, and writing stories. So making a list, so why we need to use one of these methods in starting? Of course, to order your idea, to recognize the connection between ideas, to know how to start, then or also to how to pursue your readers, how to provide readers with the essential information, and in the end, to tell the story of your development, achievements, and contributions. Okay? So making a list, in this one, you want to prepare a list of important ideas, help you in writing, even if it is a small section, a small paragraph in a specific chapter. So here you want to remember what are these important ideas you need to include. Also help you to organize your thoughts and priorities. Connect ideas and thoughts with each other to know how to structure your writing and where you are going. Also to evaluate your progress. Let's look on this example. For example, as I mentioned, you need to talk about your data, right? So any dissertation and thesis is based on collecting data, using data, processing, and analyzing data, correct? So this is the main idea of the dissertation or the core of the dissertation, okay? So let's say if you can make this list. What is your data and why you are using this specific type of the data? What is the source or what are the sources of these data? How to collect this data, how to store it, okay? So this is, for example, the data collection part when you write it. You can do same for other parts, for the data processing, then for the methodology, then for the results, okay? So when you make a list, this will make your work is easier. Or there is another method, is clustering. This method is based on put the main topic in the middle of the paper. Then start to writing ideas or the small topics around it. Do not care about the location of these ideas. After you write these small ideas, then you can start connecting them to each others by drawing, for example, a line. This method helps you to write a reasonable well-format paragraph, link and organize your idea in a good way, produce a meaningful paragraph in very little time. Let me give you an example. This is my dissertation topic. This was my dissertation topic actually for PhD. So you can see this is my main idea is predicting prognosis outcomes for patients with a brain tumor. I am in engineering. I'm a machine learning person. So I need to, that means when I say predicting, that means I will use one of the methods to predict. These methods are based, for example, artificial intelligence. But which one? Machine learning or deep learning? Why I need to use this or this? Also, why I am interested in this topic? Why? What is the reason? What are the data? Help me in this topic. Medical image, clinical data, what are the factors that lead or affected the brain tumor? Is there a clinical procedure? How can I compare? And so on, okay? So you can see I put many of the small ideas or small topics around my main topic, then I can start with the most important of them. Of course, if I am in introduction chapter, I will start with explaining why, okay? I will start with the why, okay? Also, writing a letter to friend. This is one of the nice method to start your writing. This will, any person when start writing a professional document, professional research paper or dissertation chapter, we feel stress, okay? We feel in stress. So to reduce that, you can start with writing a letter to your friend, okay? What will you need to include in this letter? Of course, tell your story. Why were you interested in this topic and why you thought it is important? This method is help to, as I mentioned, your idea in a simple way and direct, in a simple way, direct and non-technical language. Also, it is help you to manage the fear that your topic is boring or your writing is not good. And actually, after you write this letter, you can see your friend feedback. It is good too. Okay. Another method to start your writing is journalistic device. We know any report or news story is begun with a paragraph that tell the reader who, what, why, when, where, and how. Okay, so try to answer this question. Okay, also we have a writing a story. Here you need to write any story, you need to begin how you come be interested with your topic or how you learn more about it. And remember, each story has a beginning and the conclusion, right? So this is the path that you will start. You will start with the beginning, then end with the conclusion. So these are the 5 methods that help us to how to start writing. Now, strategies to keep you going when you write. First strategy is write your first draft. Okay? Don't stress yourself that what you are writing, what you start writing, it is the final, but it is a first paragraph. When, a first draft. When it is first draft, that means you can use your first person singular for clarity. You can say, I think, in my opinion, probably. You can use any phrase. I ignore audience evaluation in this stage. Write short sentence and clear sentence. Use a comfortable style that I mentioned when we start with it. Use clear and enjoyable style for others. What does that mean? Many of dissertations that are in STEM, if you just describe your objectives, outcomes with a text, this is not enough. But the people, when they see graph, a flowchart, table, and so on, figures, this make them more interested, enjoyable, understand your idea more clearly. Set a daily writing schedule is very important. Then in the stage 2, after you finish the first draft, you can revise it to end with the final draft. Okay, but here in this stage, you must be selective with the adverb and adjective. So for example, some people, when they got a good result, it's not good to say, I achieved a good result or excellent result. Instead, you can say, I achieved a high accuracy of 99%. For example, you must be more specified and more clear with these. Always remember you are the boss of your writing in this step, okay? So you are the best person who know your topic, who your idea. It's good to get feedback, but discuss with others, okay? Discuss, I mean with committee here, with your committee or with your advisor if they didn't accept something or they have a different advice. Then now let's look what are the common barriers, or obstacles that most of the students face during their dissertation thesis process. So here are the common. According to the Surviving Your Dissertation, this book, they mentioned these 5 issues. And actually, I strongly agree with these. And you can see working with your committee is one of the problems. Because as I mentioned, maybe they have a different idea. They expect different things. So it's better to have a meeting with them, to set a regular time or regular meeting, or prepare a report, share your report with them, identify your progress, seek their feedback. One of my recommendation is to prepare and write a report and share it with your advisor is very important, and ask for a feedback because it is a long research journey. Okay, so maybe your advisor will miss something or forget something you discussed about it before. Okay, or maybe your advisor mentions something to manage or to consider in your dissertation and you forget about it. So it's good to have a report or to write down any recommendation. Also, task blocks, emotional blocks, depending on other for data collection and dissertation oral defense, which is the final final step in the dissertation process. So working with the committee, so as I mentioned, conflict of ideas, something is not very clear, they expect something from you, but you get different things. So as I mentioned, the good thing is to have open communication, plan ahead, build a relationship, seek support, seek feedback. As I mentioned, it's good to have written feedback. It's good, very, very good. Okay. Emotional blocks, this is in our life. Sometimes situation happen, sometimes fear of failure because it is really stress. I didn't get the results in a time that I decided, or I didn't get the data, and so on. Okay, so what are the strategies to overcome these barriers? You can set a realistic goal, seek support, manage stress, stay connected with others, ask for professional help, take a break. It is important when you feel very stressed. Okay, we have also task block. These are related to research. Design can be complex and time consuming. You didn't. That's why I told you in the beginning, you must discuss everything with your advisor, specifically your topic, with your advisor, with your committee. Okay. So what you can do if this happened, you can narrow down the research scope and set the boundaries. You can break down a task into a small task, multiple small tasks, and each of these tasks can be manageable. And get your thoughts on a paper, it's important. Also, it's important, as I mentioned, to have a timeline, okay? And seek a clarification. Here, Pomodoro technique, you need to use it. What is the Pomodoro technique? Here is the Pomodoro technique. You need to set a manageable task. Choose one, okay? Then set the time is about 25 minutes as a timer, okay? Work intensely for 25 minutes in this Pomodoro time. This is a Pomodoro time, okay? After 25 minutes, your timer, you will get the timer ring, right? So you can get a short break here. This short break can be 5 minutes. Then repeat this Pomodoro cycle, let's say 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, okay? Then you can take a long break after you finish, let's say, a few Promodo for 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, this is one of the good methods. Okay, try to use this one. Also, as I mentioned, there is depending on others for data collection. For example, you get delay in data. You are not the person who collect the data. Other institution, other people, other organization are responsible to collect this data. So maybe you get the delay because this task requires time. Number one, there is something happened, maybe limited access, maybe ownership issue with the data. Maybe also can be problem that you expect to collect data from a specific type of the sensor. Let's take this example, or resource, but there is a problem with the sensor or the resource that provide the data. So you need more time, okay? So how we can to overcome any problems related on data, collecting data, we can collaborate early. We must have detailed agreement in the beginning. We can implement data validation first. We can see, is this the data that I am interested in? Let's say ask for 10 samples in the beginning, or see some examples before you decided this type of the data. Also, you can have a data backup and also be flexible, adaptable, and proactive. Okay, these are the strategies to overcome anything or any problem related to the data. Now yes, it is not related, the dissertation oral presentation with the writing journey or writing dissertation process, but it is related to the preparing, organizing, and achieving your dissertation, right? So let me just provide you this information in general. Here are the 7 problems that they mentioned with the oral presentation that the students, okay, or let's say committee mentioned based on the students' presentation. Number 1, the speaker read slides. This is not nice, not good. For example, some people put the definition of a term and they try to read the definition, or they explain the mythology, the steps, they read everything from the slide. Instead, you must know the steps or you must be familiar with the definition. Also, the text is a small font, so small. People use full sentence instead of the points in their slide. It is complex. They didn't understand it. It's not help them to follow the ideas. Also, it is poor in color choice. For example, the background is black and the color to write a text they used, for example, red. So it is not really a good choice, this one. Or no clear purpose, no flow of ideas. So these are the problems. You need to think about these before your defend dissertation. So these are the resources. You can read about the program requirements in your department website. Every department at UNLV, they provide detailed information. What are the program requirements? You need to visit the UNLV Graduate College Thesis and Dissertation Guideline. Please visit this webpage as soon as possible, even if you are not in the writing, okay, stage. Why? Because you need to know all the information. Also, maintain a good network with your advisor, committee, faculty, peer, friends, scholars. These people will provide the support and advice to you, help you in this process. Also, you can visit the UNLV Writing Center They have different types of the help or support they can provide to the student. These can be in their writing, or as I mentioned, the citation, and so on. UNLV library, authenticate. This is the important thing that I mentioned, so you can avoid plagiarism. So just you need to upload your paragraph, your paper, your dissertation, your chapter to authenticate, and then generate a report and see if you missed something. Also, Digital Scholar at UNLV, this is the link. They contain all the dissertation in different departments, scholar articles, research, and so on. Okay. And these are the references that I used in preparing. You can read the books that I mentioned here. They provide very nice information. These books are, some of them available online, others are available in the library. Okay, thank you so much for your time. And any question?
Thank you, Dr. Chato. And yes, if there's any questions, maybe we can take one question, but we're at the end of our workshop.
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. So if
Yeah,
there's any questions, we can take one maybe. And if it's a
yeah.
quick one, maybe we can take one more. You can unmute yourself or
Oh,
type them in the
yes.
chat,
Yes,
however you
correct.
like.
They can just email me if you have any question. Maybe now you don't have, but when you will look on the slides, you will get some other questions. So just please email me anytime. I can answer your question in email, or I can sit in person, maybe Zoom meeting, and explain information to you.
That's so nice of you, Dr. Chato. Thank you for that. I have one anonymous question. The timeline should reflect the changes through data collection? Question mark.
The timeline. Okay, this is a good question. Actually, as I mentioned, the timeline that when we put it, the first timeline is, remember, it is the draft. Okay, this is the first draft. You can update it based on your progress, based on requirements, based on feedback. Okay, so if you get a problem with delay with data collection, yes, you can set more time for that. But as I mentioned, if you have a good conversation with the people that provide your data, or with maybe your advisor, you can get some advices. Okay?
Thank you so much, Dr. Chato. I think that is all. We really appreciate your expertise and sharing your time with us too, Dr. Chato. And thank you for all the participants that we have in this workshop.
Thank you
This
so
workshop
much.
will be available on YouTube, Graduate College YouTube channel too. And everybody have a great night.
Thank you so much. You
Thank
too.
you.